Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we are looking at a bit of an older product, but one that I think any mentalist needs to be refreshed on if you have not purchased this already, because I think it is fantastic. And that is the Prodigy Peak by Franz. I think it is one of the best routines in terms of direct mind reading out there. I think it is phenomenally constructed. I think that a lot of you are going to enjoy this and are going to want to explore this if you have not already. And I'm here to dissect everything that you need to know about this right after the intro. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about the Prodigy Peak. So what is this? In its essence, it's a routine. So this is not, as the title may suggest, a peak, it's a routine. Okay, so to put it bluntly, it's a routine. You're buying a routine through which you're going to be able to learn how to do a very good peak through routining. So that's essentially what the basis of it is. We're going to talk more about it in a moment because there's much more to it than that. But I just want to give you kind of a quick presentation of how this would look. So you would remove from your pocket here a stack of different billets, or however you want to call them, and you tell that to your spectator that these are actually thoughts that spectators have had in the past week or so that you've had them note down. So essentially they've been thinking of different objects, fruits, sports, some have even been thinking, for example, of countries, shapes, colors, different things that people have been essentially going for in the past few shows that you've done this. And essentially what you're going to have them do is you're going to have one of them add to this set. So you're going to have someone, you're going to take one card, you're going to give it to them, and you're going to tell them to write down any animal. So they're going to write down any animal that they want. You can tell them, just don't think of a dog or cat, it's too obvious. Think of any animal. Then you tell your second spectator that they're also going to take part in this, and they're going to think of a pre-made thought, so one of these. So you're going to tell them to just choose one. So the spectator is going to take one. Let's say they take this one. They're going to take a look at it. They're going to remember it. They're going to focus on it. While they're doing that, you're just going to take back your spectator's animal. You're going to place it back, right back. Then you're also going to take the other spectator's one, and you're going to place that one back as well. And then you're just going to take everything, put it inside of the band, just like this. And this goes inside your pocket, wherever. And in this moment, believe it or not, what I've done through the routine, I've gotten all the information that I need in order to perform and reveal the two effects. Now again, I've done it a bit quickly without presentation, but just so you get the idea of how fair this is. So it is extremely, extremely fair, and it plays incredibly, in my opinion. But that is the main routine that you get with the Prodigy Peak, but you get a bit more. So what you get is this main routine with 2 spectators, but then you also get a routine with 3 spectators, where you're going to have one spectator write a random animal, one spectator writes anything else that you want, a pin code, a house number, a country, an object, whatever, and one person choosing an object that has already been thought of. So you can do it with 3 spectators as well in the same procedure. Then you can also do it as a prediction. So you have someone think of an animal, you have someone think of something from the stack, you reveal what's chosen from the stack, and then you reveal what's chosen from the person, but then you tell them, wait, I actually have something in my pocket in this small envelope. You remove a small envelope and you show that you had predicted that even before they wrote what they wrote, they were going to choose that exact animal. So you have the prediction there available to you as well. And then you also have, at the end of the book, another routine, which is kind of a bonus. It's called the bucket list routine, where you have different things. You can show the spectator, you have a list of bucket list items. You show them, this is things that I've collected from people when I've asked them what's their favorite bucket list. What's yours, for example? They're going to tell you theirs. They then take the cards, they mix them up, they cut anywhere, they take a look at it, they place it back, and then you tell them what is your bucket list item. Let's say they say, traveling to Barbados. Let's say that's what they picked. You have then, from your pocket, you can have a small envelope with, when you turn it around, it has sand, but then you actually look at the bottom, it says from Barbados. You can have a lot of fun with that depending on what you want to reveal. It's incredible. It's a prediction effect that works with bucket list items, but once you know the method, you can essentially work it with anything that you want. But the framing and the routine that he gives you for the bucket list item is fantastic. So that's the way that I'm going to be using it as well. So as you can see, the Prodigy Peak is more than just a peak. It's a set of 4 different routines that are incredibly well constructed. And that's what you need to understand here. This is a set of routines, and we're going to unpack all of this a bit more right now. But before, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this pretty much anywhere. I think it is being pushed in market by Murphy's Magic. It will set you back $35 US, which is around 45-50 Canadian. And what you get with your purchase is this book. So it's a soft cover book, but with the pages extremely glossy. The pages are great. And as you can see, everything is really well written. There's even images in HD with color. Everything's extremely well presented to you here in this book. It's a very good book. It's something easy to carry around as well. If you want to read, for example, while you're in the bus or the metro or traveling, it's super easy to carry around with you. And it's also, let me tell you the page number, it is 76 pages long, okay? So that's essentially what you're gonna get with your purchase. One thing you're not gonna get is these, which are your billets. Now, these are not normal billets because for the routine, you're gonna have to make one of these. You're gonna have to make one of these stacks in order to do the routine. He gives you 2 options of like an option at home, which is the one that I took. You just do it. It took me maybe 3 minutes to do, maybe 5, let's say 5 minutes. As you know, I don't do any arts and crafts, but I was able to do it perfectly, and it works perfectly in 5 minutes. I did this at home, and as you can see, I feel this looks extremely normal. I think that if I didn't tell you that this was a bit tricked, you would have never even thought it was. So you're gonna have to make one of these at home, or he gives you an option to just go to your local print shop and have them do it for you in around 30 seconds, and they're gonna do it for free as well because it's something super simple to do. He gives you that option as well. You're gonna have to make one of these for your routines, and you're gonna have to choose between 2 options, but we're gonna talk about those options in the difficulty setting. But if you want to do also the pad routine with the prediction, you're going to have to do a bit of arts and craft for that as well. Nothing, again, too difficult, can be done at home with little to no, difficulty. And if you want to do the bucket list routine, you're going to have to make another set of these as well with the bucket list items. But what I'm going to do personally for that is recently there's been some products that have come out through ALAKAZAM that will allow you to do the routine in a much cleaner and better fashion. And I'm just going to buy the already made prop and apply the principle to the prop, and that's how I'm going to use it. So you can make it yourself, or you can buy an already made prop for that last routine. So now that we know that, let's go over difficulty. So how difficult is this to perform? In terms of routining moves and sleights, it is incredibly easy. It's very not that hard. It's pretty much self-working for the most part because of how easy and good it is. And what I really like is the fairness, because what I don't know if you noticed, but that's how it plays in performance. When I just cut and have them place it back and just thump everything and square it, that is what you do in performance. You don't have it and square it in an interesting way or do anything. It's just, okay, just place it back, plaque, you place it, and then you go for the second spectrum and you say, okay, look, you place yours here, boom, and you wrap it around. So that's how you get your peak. It's fantastic. It's really well designed, and it's super easy to achieve with little to no practice. However, there is, as I said, you have to construct either an option of these 2 decks. And your option is option 1 is the memory work option, and the option 2 is the no memory work option, and he gives you both. So the one that I have is the no memory option, but if you want, you can have the memory option, which will allow you some benefits, but also some negatives. Both have their pros and cons. For example, the non-memory one, which is basically 0 memory work, is not inspectable. It's not inspectable at all, and it's always going to be the same result, but it's going to let you do a prediction if you want. It's going to let you get a 1 ahead in an extremely fair manner, in an even easier manner than before. And it's going to have some advantages in performance. The memory method is fully inspectable. You can do it at multiple people at the same table. It will always be different. And yeah, but you will have to put in some work regarding memory, right? So those are the drawbacks that you need to know, but you have 2 options. You're going to choose the option that you want and make yours. If you want, you can even make both. So you can have both of them, and you choose, depending on your performance and the routine that you perform, which one you would prefer to do, the memory or non-memory, and you just remove this, the pad of billets and you do the routine, okay? So difficulty wise, it may require memory work if you want to go that route, but if you do not want to, then you don't have to. But what's also nice is I want to mention is you can do it half-half. So what's nice is you can do half, I don't want to say too much, but you can do it half-half. That's all I'm going to say. But overall, it is relatively easy to do, not that difficult, and you can choose whatever fits your fancy. Now let's talk about practicality. So how practical is this to perform? It's extremely practical. All you need is this. You take this in your pocket, a pen, and that's it. And you have an extra stack of them because once the spectator writes down, if you want to do it on multiple tables, you'll constantly have to give them a blank one to write on, obviously. But you're just going to have to carry this in your pocket, boom, a pen, and a few extra blank billets, and you are good to go. So practicality wise, it is very good. In terms of angles, it is pretty much 270 to 180. It's not 360. You cannot do it 360. In terms of inspectability, depending on the routine that you do, it can be inspectable or will not be inspectable. It depends on what you choose and the way that you decide to perform the effect. In terms of reset, the reset is extremely quick. So for example, here, I'm just gonna reset it off camera. Boom, boom, boom. We are fully reset and ready to go to the next table for our next performance. What did it take? Maybe 3 seconds for me to reset this, and we're ready to go to the next table. That's how easy it is to reset. And in terms of a table, you do not need one. This can be done fully in the hand. So you can just have them, you cut, you have them place it back, you cut, you have them place it back, wrap around in your pocket, in your wherever you want, and you're good to go. So it does not need a table either. Now, where do you perform this? This can be pretty much performed anywhere. I think this would work very well in parlor cabaret settings, especially if you do it with 3 spectators. I think it could play very well, but also in any close-up scenario where you have 2-ish spectators, you can do it. Now, I also want to dispel that you do not need to necessarily have 2 spectators for this. You can also do it with just 1 spectator and have him think of both. So you have them look. I want you to write a thought of your own, but I also want you to have a thought that is not your own. And you do it with just 1 spectator, it can work as well. It is doable with 1 spectator, but because of the routining and how well the routine is built, it's much better to have 2 or 3 spectators, but it can be done with just 1. So overall, this can be performed pretty much anywhere where you want to do it, except of course, virtually. And on stage, I think it may play a bit too small for a stage environment. But now that we've said all of this, what are the positives and negatives? And first, let's start with the negatives. The negatives of the Prodigy Peak is the fact that I have not discovered this routine earlier. I honestly do not have many negatives because, as I said, you have options. If you want it to be, if you really care about this being inspectable, you have an option to have it inspectable. If you do not care about it, you don't have to. And the way that the routine is designed, you can choose your things. You have so many options. You can do predictions. You can choose to reveal it as a drawing. You can choose to do direct mind reading. You can choose and do a dream sequence. He gives you ideas. You can do this as a lottery prediction. There's so many things you can do with this. I don't really have a negative. Possibly the only negative is that you will have to make up this your own. And it's maybe going to take maybe 5 minutes of your time. But except for that, there's really not many negatives that I have to say about this project. In terms of positives, 1, the routining is exceptional. The book is good quality. The routines are good quality. Everything is really well explained. The price is extremely fair. It's a 2 to 3 to even a solo performance. You can play this as big or as small as you want. It's direct, it's modular, and it's very fun to perform as a performer as well, because of how devious the method is. It's just so fun to perform as well. So it has a lot going for it. So now that I've said all of this, would I recommend the Prodigy Peak and what do I give it out of 10? Would I recommend it? I think that if you're a mentalist, I think you need to buy this. I honestly feel that you're going to use this. Maybe at the first reading, you're going to be like, oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay. And then you're going to be a bit disappointed. But then when you actually work this and you see how fooling it is. I've done this, as always. The first test I always do is to my parents, and they know everything. They know pretty much any move in Magic Mentalism. They know what it is. With this, they were fooled. They were honestly, both of them, they were like, I just don't understand when you could have retrieved the information. You did nothing. You didn't even look at the cards. How did you retrieve the information? That's how fair this is. And I think that if you actually try it, you will be performing this. Personally, This is going in my bag every single time I go out. I will use this all the time. That's how good it is, and that's how much I like it. So overall, I do recommend it, and I'm giving the Prodigy Peak, I'm thinking of giving it a 10. I'm honestly thinking of giving it a 10 because of how easy, how fooling, and how direct it is. I think it is fantastic, and I personally love it. So I don't usually give things a 10. I'm thinking of giving it a 9.5, but because I'm using this so much, I basically haven't left my house without this the past few weeks that I've had it and I've went out. I basically perform this all the time. So I think just because of that, it's a 10, and I fully recommend it. As always, if you have any additional questions, leave them down below. If not, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Have a good one, and bye.